What's going on to all of our banana friends listening to this podcast?
Banana friends.
Welcome into another episode of the Weekly Peel. I am Peter.
And I am John.
And we are your hosts. We are delighted to spend another 30, 40 minutes with y'all in your day. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening for the next 4.5 hours.
Exactly. Just binge them.
Yes.
So before I have to.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I was gonna say something about your calling them banana friends.
Oh, please.
Okay.
Please, by all means.
I like it. It was solid. It was a very safe option, I will say. I think that's probably the safest option we've had. It's almost like Peel Pals.
I may have come up with it like 30 seconds before we hit record.
Love it. All right, now.
But
now
something else that happened 30 seconds before we recorded was John revealed to me something very, very interesting. What are you pulling up over your mouth right now?
I'm wearing a turtleneck. I was hoping to come out looking like John Legend today, but instead I kind of look like Fanny Pack Rock. Continue.
So, John bought a Spiderman costume.
Okay, hold on. You jerk. How dare you say that like that? I was gonna tell you tell him the reasoning, and then he goes, wait. Would you say this on the podcast, or you said save it for the podcast? I don't know. You said something about doing it now. So, okay.
We are.
The allegations are true. I did, in fact, buy a Spiderman costume. That was my Bill Clinton. I did buy a Spider-Man costume, yes, and but I have a good reason. I'm not a weirdo. I mean, I am, but it's for a good cause. So my son, his favorite show, he's like a 4 months away from being 2, so 20 months, and I had to think about that math. And his favorite show is Spidey and Friends on Disney. So like he absolutely loves it. He watches it. Sorry, I just had some seltzer, so if I have some burpage going on, that is why. And he loves it. It's his favorite show in the whole world. Watches it all the time. He calls him Man because he can't say Spider. He says Man. And we actually got him like Christmas toys that are like from the show because we saw it in Target, which is a big win, not a sponsor. And then we were like, well, we're definitely going to do a Spider-Man themed birthday in a couple months. And I was like, you know what? This is the perfect opportunity for me as an adult to have an excuse to go and buy a Spider-Man costume. So initially I said, hey, how about the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit that's $1,000? And my wife was like, haha, no. No, I would never actually spend the money on that. But I did show it to her. It was cool. It was on Etsy. And I found one, and it was like $20 because it's not too far off Halloween where they're still trying to get rid of things. So I'm like, I better buy it. So it'll be here on the 30th. And who knows? I might wear it on whatever the Friday after that is.
Dang.
On the podcast. Probably not, but so it's good for a good reason.
That's so wholesome.
Yeah, so Spidey's gonna show up at his birthday party this year.
That's amazing.
Oh,
are you gonna take the mask off?
Never. But I gotta really work so I can actually climb up the walls and swing around. I gotta work on that.
Yeah, need to get some practice in.
Yes.
Also on Spider-Man, the trailer for No Way Home, their second trailer, dropped last night. The
trailer of all trailers, the trailer to rule them all. It was the best trailer I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, you feel very strongly about this.
I cannot express enough how much I've talked about Spider-Man in the last couple of months. Because like my wife's literally like done hearing about it. I'm so hyped for No Way Home. And I'm really after seeing that trailer, I was expecting Toby and Andrew, but they weren't in it, but they're in the movie. Let's just be honest.
I think that Marvel is playing its cards very close to its chest. And I'm honestly surprised that they've shown us this many cameos that are going to be in it. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Because originally they were saying, like, okay, no trailers at all.
Yeah.
And then I guess the first one leaked. But, I mean, I have a hard time. Like, why would they make a trailer like that if they're not going to post it? So I don't think that was true.
Well, I thought they planned to put it out, but then somebody leaked it early or something like that. Maybe that's what it was.
Probably, yeah.
And then Andrew Garfield getting caught in stinking 4K and then denying it. Dude. Oh, I'm so excited. I know. I have some theories after the trailer.
Yeah,
I have one.
Go for it.
Somebody told me today that I didn't even think about. I missed it completely. There's a shot in the trailer. Because you obviously see Doc Ock, which is amazing. I'm so excited for that. And when he's like, he grabs like Spider-Man and he's like, you're not Peter Parker. Like he's obviously looking for Toby, which is so cool. And I think he's gonna find him. But then somebody like suggested to me that he's not gonna be a villain in this movie.
Dr. Octopus?
Yeah, like after that point, because obviously they fight, you see that.
Right.
But that he's not a villain. Because then, and if you watch the trailer, it kind of makes sense. And I hope this isn't spoilers, because this is just theory, so I guess it's not a spoiler, but spoiler warning if you don't want to hear theories. And like when he's talking later, he's like, like they make the joke like, oh, is that, what's your name again? Dr. Otto Octavius. And they're kind of laughing because it's funny. But then you hear him talk, and I thought it was Doctor Strange the first time I hear it. But then he said, he's the one that says, you're going out in the darkness, going out into the dark to fight ghosts. He's the one saying that. He's telling Spider-Man, you're going out to fight them. Not you're fighting, like we're fighting you. Like he's not with them, right? But then, and then it says, their fate is to die from, fighting Spider-Man, which isn't exactly true. And I wonder what they're going to do with that. Because some of those villains didn't die.
Right.
Yes, but we'll get to that. Well, maybe not this.
I think this is becoming the topic of today's podcast, possibly. You've got like 30 more minutes of content on this.
At the minimum. At the minimum.
I'm like channeling what it's like to be your wife at this moment. By just hearing all of this.
Yeah, this is just a small portion. Like I'm just opening up the door and just letting it. I'll just close it. There's more. I'm just got to stuff it all back in. And so you hear that and he's talking really calmly to Peter, which is like interesting. Not exactly talking to him like he's, a villain. And then this is the kicker, and I didn't notice it. My friend pointed it out, is that Electro, when he shoots through a building, right? The person he hits is Doc Ock, and Doc Ock is flying off the building. Why is he not fighting with them? Why is he getting the attack and not part of the attack? It could be maybe an accident, he accidentally hit him. Right. But I would say there's a good chance he is, and especially the way that Spider-Man 2 was, where it was this conflict of he doesn't want to do it's the arms controlling him. He might actually take control of the arms, and we might see him be a good guy.
Yeah, I mean, we already know that he's going to get some of those Iron Man nanotech stuff all over his arms. So who knows what could happen?
Maybe it stabilizes it.
I don't know. That's not like the most exciting theory.
No,
like
it is.
Doc Ock becomes like a good guy or whatever. It's like, oh, okay. It doesn't seem like he's a good guy, but okay, so the scene in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh no.
I love
the scene.
There are parts of this movie I really love. The plot kind of falls apart. A lot of the bad guy character development really falls apart. So that's where they struggled. But there are some amazing parts of this movie that I love.
What an amazing Spider-Man movie it was.
Nice. But yeah, the ending where he goes to catch Gwen and it's super slow-mo. That scene gets me every time. It's like so hard to watch, but it's like so gut-wrenching.
And that like smack at the end.
It's hard to watch. But
it is.
To see MJ in the trailer start to fall like that,
dude,
and which is a clear reference.
Oh, absolutely.
So and a lot of people are saying this. It's not original.
I think.
But what if Andrew Garfield comes swooping in
and
catches her because he couldn't catch his Gwen?
I said that to my wife last night, and she was like, "That doesn't make any sense." And I was like, "What? I was like,
if all those characters are there before they die, then like if Andrew Garfield was there, it would have to be before Gwen died. So like,
wait, what?
You know what I mean?
Why would it be before Gwen?
Gwen dies is like the last part of the movie. Like Electro's already dead.
No, but this is the thing. This movie takes place. Oh wait, now I don't know. Because I think they know that they die, and it's like right as they die, it happens like where they transfer universes. So, because it takes like Doc Ock literally said, the guy that plays him, I forgot his name. He literally said like it takes place of me like when I go into the river in Spider-Man 2. my storylines picks back up with me coming out of the river.
Interesting.
So I think it's like right at the end of their lives, maybe a second before they die, or right as they die, they somehow get into this universe. But I think the Gwen thing already happened, and I think she just thought it was dumb. Like she was like, what is then she gonna end up with Andrew Garfield Spider-Man or something? And I was like, no, it's poetic. And she said, that's poetry.
No, you don't understand.
It rhymes.
It's like poetry. It rhymes. Yes.
But yeah, it would be amazing if he's the one to catch. And I even saw that when their hands are about to touch in the trailer, that people said that like they edited it to like there's a good chance they edited his like it's Andrew grabbing her hand, which I don't know, but I think he would grab her more from like underneath, like he like you know what I'm saying, like he swings in. But
yeah, there is maybe this could be the last thing we talk about, but like the one shot where Tom Holland Spider-Man is launching into fighting Sandman, Lizard, and and then Electro all at the same time, but like Electro and the Lizard are clearly like not like they're jumping towards him.
They're almost past him. Like they're almost past. Yeah,
and it would be the perfect shot for like a 3-on-3 if the other two Spider-Men were there.
Yes,
and so the theory is that they just took the other two Spider-Men out of the trailer because they're trying to save the hype, which is very common. I mean, like the way things look in trailers can be extremely different than the way it is in the movie. Like you can see that in Infinity War.
Oh yeah.
Like Hulk was in the trailer or something, and like he's not even in the movie in that scene, stuff like that. So I think that's almost obvious, I would say.
Yes, yes, I would agree, especially because did you see that Sony Brazil, I guess they have a Brazilian like section of their company, they didn't edit, like something is different. Have you seen this?
No.
It's so that scene is a second longer. Sorry, I know so much about this. That scene is a second longer, and you literally see Lizard get punched.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, somebody said that, and I didn't understand because I couldn't tell in the original trailer.
I watched it. Literally, his head literally gets hit by something, and nothing's there. So that's either, which I think is either Toby or Andrew, 100%. Well, 99.9%. But could it be Miles Morales because he's invisible? He has that ability. I
kind of hope not.
I kind of hope not too. I hope not. I hope he's gonna be in this movie. They spotted an actor on set, and they've like, I don't know if it's completely confirmed, but they are planning on bringing Miles Morales into the MCU to make a couple movies in the next few years. So, I think if anything, he's gonna have a small role.
I don't think too many characters, dude. But then again, that's what I said about Infinity War and Endgame, and they made it work beautifully.
and here's the difference, because that's where Sony typically always goes wrong. They get 1,000 villains, and it's just overload, and it stinks, and it ends Spider-Man as we know it. But the difference is that and it's because you get like, okay, for instance, like Dane DeHaan, that's the guy who played the Green Goblin in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. He came out of nowhere. We had no attachment to him, nothing.
Yeah.
But now, when you have all these villains who have already been in movies, right? We already have the attachment. It's literally like Endgame, like it's or Infinity War, where you have them all coming together. We already know about them. There's not much character development that has to happen. So I think it's going to be the greatest movie ever made.
And we'll leave it at that.
Yes.
I think it very well could be. If you haven't watched the trailer, please go watch it, and the Brazil version as well. Or just call me and I'll explain it shot by shot. I have it memorized. $5 Marvel sessions with John for him to talk your ear off.
Yeah. I feel like I should be paying them because it's really like it's.
You need someone to talk to.
I need somebody to talk to. My wife can't handle it anymore.
Amazing.
All right. So today we are drafting. The point of our episode is not Spider-Man. We came here to draft the most underrated. Is that how we worded it? Most underrated 2000 sitcom.
2000 sitcoms, which almost I'm like, man, would I rather discuss Spider-Man right now? Probably. Dude, but this is gonna be great too. We promise.
Oh yes, just hang with me. All right, I'm gonna take the Spider-Man cartoon. No. So we're gonna.
you brought up. I was just gonna say you brought up this topic originally, and
yes,
you seemed really jazzed about it.
I'm a big fan of sitcoms. I like typically. I'm trying to think of how many like serious shows I've watched from start to finish that aren't sitcoms or aren't like at least like heavy on the comedy. I think there's probably, let's see. My family watched Seventh Heaven growing up, so I've seen that all the way through.
Dr. Quinn Medicine.
Dr. Quinn Medicine. I hate you. No. And then I'm trying to think. Maybe like one or two other shows that were serious.
Yeah.
Typically, any TV show I'm watching. Well, Mandalorian, and then like the Marvel shows, of course.
You're gonna name every show you've watched.
Yes. Yeah. No. But I'm just saying. I'm just trying to like paint a clear picture of I love sitcoms. I love comedies. Yeah. That's typically what I'm watching if I'm watching a show. And I think in the early 2000s, for whatever reason, there were so many sitcoms. Like there was like it's insane when you like if you look at like there's an unreal amount of sitcoms in like between like the 90s and the early 2000s, and I think a lot of them fell through the cracks that are just so good, and we need to draft them. We need to build our team of the greatest underrated sitcoms, and I think they need some recognition.
So this is why this is interesting to me, because I went and in preparation for this podcast, like making my list, I felt like I couldn't find that many.
Really?
So I'm really curious to see what yours are going to be.
Okay.
Because I definitely have a few that are great, but
okay.
I didn't find this huge like comprehensive list that made me go like, oh, this one, I forgot about this one, you know? So I'm curious.
I'm not necessarily like, I don't have a list that I like look to for reference, but if you look at like the dates of when some of these shows started, you're like, wow, like they all started around the same time.
Yeah.
And there's so many of them, you know?
So it has to be on this list. Your show has to have been at least aired in the 2000s at some point.
Yeah,
it didn't have to begin or end there, but
yeah, if it's like late 90s, it can't be like, oh, we started in 1989 and we ended in 2001. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know a show that ran that long, but
yeah.
Or like The Simpsons. The Simpsons is started in actually 1989 and is still on. That obviously wouldn't count. It's also not underrated, I would say. And yeah, if it's late 90s, that's okay. If it goes into the 2010s a little bit, that's all right. So Peter, would you like to?
So these have to be underrated. You're saying?
Yes, I would say that.
Oh, okay.
In preparation, I hope that you picked according to that. Maybe you did.
I think I can make it work.
I see. Well, because when you messaged me and you said something like let's just say like let's not draft The Office, I was like, is it underrated? I think at the time it was, but now it has a bigger following than it ever had while it was on TV.
Oh yeah, it's insane how many people
I was in Food Line the other day, like 3 days ago, and they had a special edition magazine dedicated to The Office. I'm like, this show's been off the air for like 9 years or 6, 7, I don't know, it's a long time. Many years.
Crazy. So is this a draft sort of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Peter, I know this is improv, man, but come on, get it together. Improv, baby. Yes, we are going to be drafting these. And Peter is going to lose, which let's just talk about real quick. I know we're a little all over the place today, but that's okay. It's fun. We posted the poll. This is Wednesday we were recording this on. I know. People are shocked. We put up a poll literally today, but as you're listening to this, the poll is closed, and I'm just going to say I was the winner. I'm very confident. Oh, gosh, I shouldn't have said that.
So
okay.
Right now it's
75-25. You.
Yeah. Well, it's only 3 votes for me and 1 for you. So, I mean, lots of people, hundreds are going to vote on this thing. So,
yes. All right. Peter, you want to take the first pick?
I will. Okay. So, This makes me feel better about the options I had that they're supposed to be underrated. So, my third pick is.
We're doing tough. 3 picks, right? Yes.
So, I guess I should pick my highest pick first. All right, I'm gonna.
Well, you got to play the game.
I gotta play the game. I am going to say, Arrested Development is one of. I don't know if you've seen it.
I
have. I watched this show for a while, in like late high school years, and I'm telling you, like, the writing in this show is phenomenal. Like,
Dude,
the characters are like off the wall crazy all the time,
yes.
but the lengths that the writers will go to for like one like joke to be paid off, it's like there will be something that's happening like the entire season, all for it to be like paid off with like one pun, like in
No way.
18 episodes later or something.
Oh.
It's crazy how much there's so much like setup and payoff in the writing.
Yes.
And you just, if you haven't watched it, I like highly recommend that show. It is hilarious. And
yeah. I'm already. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, John, no, you got this.
No, I'm already okay. This is the thing.
Was that on your list?
No, it was not. That is a great, and I would say I tried. I could not get into it for the life of me.
Really?
I really tried. I really tried. I'm not a fan of Will Arnett at all.
Really?
Dude. I don't know what it is, but I really can't stand him.
I'm a huge fan of Will Arnett, and pretty much everyone else on that show.
Great cast, absolutely great cast. But this is the thing. So because like it works, that definitely is an underrated sitcom. And I wish I would have thought about it because I would have totally just picked it for the votes because I'm terrible in the polls. And I think you're going to win just based on how this is going so far.
No.
No, just wait. You're going to be like, what, when I pick this next one? Because it's truly underrated. And I'm going to – I don't want to pick this now. I'm going to pick Reba.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Is it? Okay,
that's
all right.
a good pick.
Okay. I never, ever heard of it growing up. And
Really?
like I literally had no idea anything about it. And then we started watching it, like me and my wife, like 2 years ago maybe. And we actually just recently finished it because we kind of like we're not too good at just sticking with the series and finishing it like right away.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get sidetracked. And I loved it. I think it's such a good family, feel good. It's like funny, but it's and there's some parts that are hilarious. Like Van, the son-in-law, he's so funny. He's the best. He's the best. I love that he spent like all day on one episode, just like because they had like a home office. Him and Reba were sharing it, and he put it was in their garage, and he put all their files. He filed them all in like perfect order, and then they hit the garage door button, and it was on the back of the garage door. And he was like, no, and it literally went up in the air, and everything came crashing down.
Yeah.
He just spent like hours and hours. It's just so many good shticks on there.
That was a show that I actually like. I kind of grew up watching Reba with my siblings, and so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, it is so, and it had a good ending. It was. I think that they needed a couple more seasons. I think it could have kept going, but it was good, and it was an interesting plot. I love the emotional aspect of it, where it starts off like her husband literally left her for somebody else, but then like they're in their lives, but then they kind of grow into this like weird, wacky family where they're all involved with each other's lives. It's a good show. It really is.
That's a great pick, John.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. It makes me feel good. I kind of want to go watch it now. I don't think I'd ever watch the whole thing from start to finish again, but I would totally just pick a couple episodes and just sit down, you know?
I actually can't believe that that wasn't even on my list. Like I didn't find that.
Reba.
Yeah. Wow.
Barbara Jean is also hilarious as well.
Barbara Jean, yes.
She's a great character. All right, Peter, what do you got?
So now I don't know. I don't think this is an underrated show now that I'm
the number one TV show.
The hard
Seinfeld.
thing about doing a poll for something like this is that these are by definition like not the crowd pleasers, if it's underrated. So like whatever people vote for like doesn't really like hold much weight.
It's true.
So this is my other pick just because I feel like all the others are like I went for like what are the best sitcoms?
Terrible.
Shameful, I know. So I'm gonna say Drake and Josh. Yeah, I know.
You're so winning.
Well, I mean, that's because people love that podcast.
That
sitcom. I keep saying podcast.
You got podcasts on the mind, baby. You got the bug. I would say that if people play, this is my plea to the peelers out there, our banana friends, our peel pals. I would say vote true to what we're trying to do. Underrated. You might not love them. You might hate the shows, but you got to admit, They're underrated.
You're like, yeah, those shows suck. I'm gonna vote for that.
It's not gonna happen. So Drake and Josh, explain.
So Drake and Josh. I think that one is definitely like the writing is a little more like childish, I guess you could say, but
How dare
I think that's one of those shows. I feel like something like Hannah Montana or Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, you would enjoy it like through childhood, but like as a teenager, you would kind of start to like, you know, you don't want to stick to it as much. Drake and Josh, I feel like you could consistently watch that through like being a kid, teenager, even now. Like it's a great show to go back to.
Absolutely.
So you know, Megan.
Megan.
The way Josh emphasizes things.
Emphasis.
Love
Dude.
it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
dude,
so great.
That is such a good pick. And you know what though? I'm starting to notice now, younger people are like, Drake and Josh, I feel like I maybe heard about it. And I'm like, come on. Like that's a show that you should continue to watch it. You should continue to play it on Nickelodeon. Come on, Nickelodeon. It's so good. They teach these kids how to laugh, you know?
It's crazy.
I would say though, I think that iCarly and Victorious, mainly iCarly, might hold up a little bit better now than Drake and I liked Drake and Josh better. A little bit, maybe not. Personally, I kind of really like iCarly. Maybe just a little bit more nostalgic for me because I watched like the first night it was on, all that kind of stuff. But I would say I think it does hold up a little bit better.
Okay,
I'll say that. But that was a fantastic pick, Peter. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, the next one. I don't think I've actually never met anybody. This is great for the polls that has watched this show. I've literally never ever heard anybody talk about it. I never heard about it until a few months ago when we started watching it. We just finished it a few nights ago. It's called My Wife and Kids.
Okay.
Have you ever seen it?
No.
Do you know the Wayans brothers?
No.
Okay, do you know the movie White Chicks?
The Wayans brothers.
Wayans brothers. Yes. Do you know the movie White Chicks?
So, yeah.
Okay, it's their family. Well, their oldest brother, I think he's the oldest. He had a sitcom, and it was called My Wife and Kids. Dude, this show is so funny. Like, it is so good. The character development, now that I'm done with it, it wasn't too good. They sacrificed some character development for the sake of comedy, but dude, it's a funny show, and it's a good show. It's about this guy and just his wife and kids. That's literally what it is. And they have he does a lot of like funny shticks on there where like he'll like do different impressions or something, and like, but they work it in naturally. Like they take a lot of his abilities and they put it in there. They make fun of their dumb son. You know, they have all the good things that, you know, make a funny sitcom. It ended on a cliffhanger and they got canceled, which is really sad. So we'll never know what happened, which is a little bit depressing, but amazing show. I love it. Like, now we just finished it the other night and I was like, man, now I don't know what to watch. They had a lot of like big comedians on there too, which is cool. Like, that would come on like and guest star, and a lot of like famous people. Like, they had Michael Jordan on an episode. Like, not that he's a comedian, but then they had they had Shaq on one. Then they had like Cat Williams, and they had like quite a few people.
That's cool,
so, dude. It was
that sounds
really,
like a good show.
It really wholesome show of just, you know, this is just how it is, like having a family in the early 2000s, and it was very, very good. You've never heard of it, have you?
No.
Maybe you said that. Yeah.
But I googled it as you were talking about it. It looks funny. Just from the pictures I saw, I guess. My last pick. We're just doing 3, right?
Yes.
My last pick is, this is the one I'm proud of.
Okay.
Is King of Queens.
Oh.
I love me some Kevin James.
I'm gonna get destroyed.
No. So I don't know like about its popularity, like when it was running. I feel like it had to be like semi-popular because it had like a good amount of seasons, I think. But I definitely went through a Kevin James phase when I was like 16, 17, and I loved watching King of Queens. And even still, like, I don't know what it is, but just the comedy of Kevin James, it gets me.
Dude, Jerry Stiller's in it.
Jerry Stiller. He is a legend.
Him. Oh,
he is incredible.
There's not many people on this earth that are funnier and they make me laugh like Jerry Stiller.
It's true. And the funny thing is he's on Seinfeld too.
I
on
know!
Seinfeld before, and he's basically the same character.
Oh, he's always the same guy. He's always the same guy.
He does it so well. Like you can go back and like listen to cast interviews and things like that. Like they will 100% of the time like tell you that Jerry Stiller is amazing. He's hilarious. Oh, yeah.
Dude, I love Jerry Stiller. He's also in Heavyweights. That's a very underrated movie. Do you remember
that?
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah. That movie's great.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, that's a good pick. I think it's one of those shows that not a lot of people now watch, but it was popular at the time.
Yeah.
You know, it had its run. You know, now Kevin, what is he doing now? Kevin James, is he still on YouTube or no?
That's a good question. Yeah, because I remember during the pandemic, Kevin James was killing it with his YouTube game.
King of the YouTube, dude.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. All right, I'll go ahead and draft my number one pick. This is the only one that might get me some votes because the other two, I'm predicting I get 20% or under of the votes. That's my prediction. Chuck. Have you ever seen it?
Question. That's a drama.
No, it's not. It's definitely not.
I was going to say it as a question, but then...
No, it's not because it is a comedy. But it is all. But there are serious things. But most of it is funny. I would say most of it is like situational comedy.
Okay.
Sitcom.
Oh.
You know.
Dang, mind blowing.
Yes, that's right. Dude, that is such and that's just even if it is a drama, it's so underrated. I gotta bring it up any chance I get. It's
so
comedy,
funny because I almost. Like before we set our list and you were talking about like the shows that you've watched that were not sitcoms, I almost said Chuck. Dude. And that would have like ruined it.
Yes. But. No, it's funny. There's a ton of humor in it, which you wouldn't expect from a spy show, but it's very, very funny. Zachary Levi is fantastic. He is an amazing actor. I love him. He's great at Shazam too. That's a side note. That's actually a good DC movie. And I did you like it or did you not?
I knew you were gonna chase that line of thought. You like tried to let it go.
I did.
And I was like, do you like it?
Did you like it, Peter?
I didn't watch it, John.
How dare you?
I never got around to it. Okay,
dude. I never got around. Can I just draft Nacho Libre?
Sure. Anyway, I mean, for drafting Chuck.
Oh my gosh.
Draft whatever.
No, Chuck is so good, so underrated. It only lasted 5 seasons. There should have been more. And it's funny because the fans actually kept it alive. That's what I love about it, is that it was doing all right, and then and then they were like, maybe we should cancel it, and the fans got wind of it, and they were gonna cancel it, so they started a campaign of like just like sending in thousands and thousands and thousands of signatures of like do not cancel this,
oh my
and like
gosh.
I want to say they raised funds to help it like stay on the air or something like that, and then like Subway realized, hey, this could be really cool if we like hop on this because people love this show. And so what they did was they were like, we'll sponsor Chuck, and they made a big deal about it, like we're doing that so that way their business would they'd get all the Chuck fans to come and eat at Subway, and it like in the show they have so many ads for like just like
really?
Built into the script, and it's so cheesy, it's hilarious. Like they come in and like Big Mike, the manager's like, I love my, oven roasted chicken from Subway. It's only $5.99. But like, it's like cheesy, but not over the top. So it's like kind of casual that you're like, do they sponsor it? Like, do they?
That's so funny.
Yeah. And there's just so many funny like characters, Jeff and Lester, also known as Jeffster. They had a band. That was great. Morgan. Dude, and Chuck himself, hilarious. It's such a good show, so underrated. If you haven't watched Chuck before, go watch it. Great show, great ending, hilarious. Little bit of drama, just a tad.
There we go. I have a prediction that people are gonna call you out in the poll and say that Chuck is not a sitcom.
Dude, I have a prediction that I will fight them.
Stick to your guns. Stick to your guns.
I'm sticking to them.
If you say it's a sitcom, it is. Now reality can be whatever you want.
Oh my gosh. I would like to hear your picks. Also, wait. Hold on. Or not your picks, your honorable mentions. Because I think you have some to do. Also, I let you draft Magneto, and I don't think that he should have been in that one draft, so you're welcome. So I can draft Chuck.
Okay. Right before you drafted Thanos. That's what I thought.
Yeah, okay. He was sci-fi.
Honorable mentions, and I was going for like some of the best sitcoms at this point. Parks and Rec.
That's a good one. And it is underrated. It is.
Oh, I think so. I don't think it's better than The Office, but that's a whole other podcast right there.
Yes.
And then Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Oh,
it's good.
Those are good.
You know, the original, not Sweet Life on Deck.
No, Sweet Life on Deck was we don't talk about that. That's like a weird uncle, a weird cousin. You just don't like to mention. Well, Peter, I think it's time. I think that's all we got to say on this.
That's
it's time for thank you.
Let's say thank you. Some thank yous.
I just want to say thank you to all the people who are going to not vote for me because honestly, please vote for me. But Peter's list was amazing. I also just want to say thank you to Marvel for giving me hope and giving me a reason to live because I love Spider-Man. I need to talk about Spider-Man. If anyone wants to talk about Spider-Man, just DM me.
I want to thank all of our listeners who don't know anything about what's going on with Spider-Man and still made it this far into the podcast. And lastly, I would like to thank Megan! Emphasis!
We'll see you next week.
Next week!
I totally just ripped off your joke though.
No, you carry the joke.